People across Canada have various and differing opinions on just how severe the coronavirus is right now, how alarmed we should be as a society. And I saw this play out really interestingly during a visit to one of my local grocery stores. So it was actually quite full. There wasn't a lineup in front, and I thought, okay, this is great because I'm going to get around quite productively. But there were a lot of people there. I guess they were just at their limit. And I saw people who were really making a show of enforcing the rules and others really making a show of the opposite. So at one point I needed to get some ground beef. Now at this particular store there's just one line of ground beef up on the rack, and there was an older lady who was looking at the ground beef and she was taking a long time to decide what she wanted. I don't know what the big deal is. It's kind of all the same size, and you either get medium, lean, or extra lean. You just take it and you go. I mean, what's the longest you're going to be there for? Like 8 seconds or something? This lady was there for a long time. But I was like, whatever. I stood well behind her and waited for her to do her thing. I mean, normally I would have just said, oh, excuse me, ma'am, and dodged in and grabbed one for myself and headed on. But then I would have been within like 2 feet of her face, and you're not supposed to do that. So I think some of the rules out there are a bit extreme, but I'm happy to follow many of them, particularly this one. So I'm just being polite and courteous. But then this other lady comes up behind me, and she's all like, what, is there some sort of lineup here? What's going on? I'm in a hurry. And I look back and I said, yes, this lady is waiting for the ground beef. She's looking at the ground beef. I'm letting her go first. The woman, and she kind of huffed, and she got really up in my business. She was like standing really close behind me. And I'm like, okay, lady, you know what's going on here. Chillax. Meanwhile, what happened later was I went down an aisle, and you know how there's the directions that tell you got to go this way or that way? We're just not used to that. I've been going 35 years of my life without that, and it's hard to sort of retool your brain. So I guess I was going the wrong way, and so were these other people in front of me. Well, this guy coming the other way, as in the right way, he's walking towards them, and he's waving, and he's pointing down at the floor, and we didn't know what he was doing. I thought he was saying they dropped their wallet or something, and then finally this couple clues in, and this guy was very sort of aggressively and anxiously and angrily saying, you're all going the wrong way, turn around, get out of my face. And I thought, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not following the signs, all right, good point. And I was happy to turn around. But really interesting to see that what's playing out right now in Canadian society is these very divided opinions and people getting at loggerheads. If this guy and this lady had met at the store, the ground beef lady and the aisle guy, oh boy, I mean, that would have been fisticuffs. We have to bring the law in on all of this. And I think maybe what that tells us is that divided opinions, that they're natural. I can't really blame either of these people. I don't have the extreme perspectives that either of them had. Most people, I don't think either. I think that they're representative of more extremes, but still, there's a large segment of people in both of those opinions. I think what it probably tells us is that we need to continue with the reopenings. We need to continue with them quickly, but we just have to acknowledge that people are going to be doing things different ways. I was recently writing about the state of Georgia, and there's this concern, oh, the reopening they're doing is going to kill people and this and that. Here's the thing, Georgia is actually doing great. They flattened the curve. It's been about 17 days since they did that. The cases are only just declining, but not all businesses are open and not all shoppers are going back to normal because people are looking at it and they're going, I don't feel comfortable opening my business. I don't feel comfortable as a customer going to the hair salon. So they're not doing it. Here's the thing, the reopening is not the government putting a gun to your head and telling you you must go and live the way you were living before. You're simply now being given the choice, whereas before you didn't have the choice. And I think if we factor that in more, if we realize this is not government edict, this is human choice about what you feel is an informed and responsible choice for you and your family to make, I think it's going to be a whole lot easier for us to navigate this new landscape. Like I said, I don't fault either of those people at the grocery store, but they need to appreciate that there's going to be people who have the opposite end of the view of them. So first of all, I think the lady who was grabbing for the ground beef and so forth, right, getting up on my back, she needs to chillax and realize not everybody has her view. And the other guy with the signs, yes, we need to follow the rules, but he probably needs to stay home a little bit more. I mean, this guy's really anxious about things. So if you're very anxious, you stay home more. If you're feeling a bit more free and liberal, well, act a little bit more free and liberal, but still be aware of other people's concerns and their own boundaries. Looks like we're going to be out of this sooner than later, and that the summer, not going to be normal. We're not going to be rocking out at the Bryan Adams concerts as much as I wish that we would be, to applaud that great Canadian icon. But hey, we'll be getting back to some semblance of normal if we take it steady as she goes.